back with the Hail West Virginia podcast with the Raspy Voice Kids. Jeremy, J, and Fiends. Phoenix is in the building. I am joining him as Brandon Phoenix, a.k.a. I also hate Pitt. No matter what happens, no matter what we say or do, don't you forget, we also hate Pitt. We are brought to you by the fine people at Sandwich University, located on 461 High Street in Morgantown. When you get there, tell them that the Raspy Voice Kids sent you so that you could get one of their fat sandwiches because they are the king of the fat sandwich. We are brought to you by Shrinkables.
Shrinkables!
And nobody has more beautiful puppies than Shrinkables. We are also brought to you by the finest automotive dealer in all of the state of West Virginia, Astorg Auto. They serve West Virginia and beyond with luxury vehicles and exemplary service, something that you cannot replicate anywhere else, and no one does. They are the best. When you get there to buy your car, tell them that the Raspy Voice Kids sent you. Shout out to Jamie Spears for making all of this happen. What a wonderful partner and sponsor we have in Mr. Spears. And then, of course, Swill Dog. I'm still drinking the rosé because I can't get enough. I know they are a sponsor. I know they are a partner. I know this sounds like shilling. I love this stuff. And I'm a beer guy. I'm a whiskey guy. They got me on that cider. Swill Dog. Get swilled, but always do it responsibly. Now, the question is, Jeremy.
Now, before you start that, I just want to give a shout out to Shrinkables. We had a sponsor trip out to L.A. We went to Hollywood. We went to Venice. We hit Santa Monica. Great time. Wonderful people. I mean, I was rocking my WV because I'm a mountaineer. Always a mountaineer no matter where I go. But big shout out to them. Appreciate you. Shrinkables!
And Shrinkables also sponsored your trip to Game 3 of the NBA Finals.
Game 3, man. We got to see King James, man.
Shrinkables is a wonderful partner. They've done so much for us, as all of our partners have. And
the tarantula.
We are very specific about who we partner with, by the way. We don't just get sponsors to get sponsors. But enough of that. Is Dana on the hot seat?
If you ask me,
I'm asking you.
Current second coming into this year, I don't think he's on the hot seat per se right now. Now, when we get into it, we'll start talking. I think eventually the seat could heat up really quickly during this year because of fans' anticipation and fans' expectations of what this year should be. Right now, at the moment, I don't feel like he's necessarily on the hot seat. Now, here's the thing. Maybe I'm wrong. I looked at CoachHotSeat.com. They listed 10 coaches. There were a couple Big 12 coaches. So along with David Beatty and Cliff Kingsbury, they also talked to about a Big 10 coach and Jim Harbaugh. But they did mention Dana as one of those coaches that were on the hot seat. And one of the things they mentioned was they noted his 27-27 record.
In the Big 12.
Yeah. And they talked about, I mean, last year you get a pass, the guy goes down, but you went 7-6 last year. And they looked to this year's schedule, which they looked at as being very tough. So they projected a 7-5 year, and they said if he finishes 7-5, his coaching seat in 2019 will be very hot.
In 2019, but not 2018.
Bingo.
Because here's what's interesting about Dana Holgorsen. Everybody's talking. If you talk to West Virginia Nation, if we talk to Mountaineer Nation, everyone thinks we're going undefeated this year.
Because we are, but go ahead.
People think that a bad season, a disappointing season is 9-3, 8-4. But what does Vegas have us? What does ESPN's FPI have us? They have us at 7 wins, which is what they had us at last year, I believe. Or maybe 6.5 last year, 7 this year. That means we are not expected to win any more than 7 games. Anything Dana does more than 7 games means he overachieved, technically. Now, the fans won't feel that way, but the experts do. And I say experts tongue-in-cheek because oftentimes they don't know as much as they think they do. But I think it's important for us to look at this. ESPN FPI views WVU's season this way. Tennessee, we have a 61.9% chance of winning. Youngstown State, we have a 92.2% chance of winning. Now, I'm offended that is not 100%. But anyway, NC State, we only have a 45.2% chance of winning. And NC State loses pretty much their entire defense, though they do bring back a stellar offensive line and an all-ACC type quarterback. Kansas State, we have a 64% chance of winning. But then our trip to Lubbock to play Texas Tech and the Red Raiders, we're down to a 41% chance. 87.7% chance to beat Kansas, 43% chance at Iowa State. So they don't think that when we go to A.A.M.s, we can win. Or we just have a very low expectation. Baylor, we have a 64% chance of winning. At Texas is 23%. Now, Texas is on my loss list. At Texas. ESPN has it the same way, pretty resoundingly, because we only have a 23% chance to win. TCU's a 59% chance to win for us, because that's a home game. Oklahoma State playing in Stillwater, we only have a 27% chance. And then even getting Oklahoma at home on a Friday night game in Morgantown, Milan Puskar Stadium, we only are given a 28% chance to beat the Sooners. Even though they lost Baker and so much from that prolific offense, Kyler Murray is still in the building. Lincoln Riley still in the building.
So you're telling me what Vegas? No, go ahead. You're telling me
what
I'm
telling you is, I don't know how Shane Lyons perceives it. Is he a fan? Or is Shane Lyons a realist?
That's where I was going. You're telling me with Vegas. You're telling me all these other lines. The real question is, are the people who are making decisions for West Virginia right now, are they going to get swept up in the hype, in the fandom? Because perception is reality. So if they believe that Dana has the offense to go out and win this many games, it doesn't matter what everybody else thinks. It's what do they believe. I will say that's impactful because think about it, they, as much as intelligent as they are and as objective as we would like to think they are, sometimes you get swept up in emotion.
Yeah, especially since Dana's not Shane's guy. Oliver Luck hired him.
I feel like we all can agree, and we love Bill Stewart. But after he wins in the Fiesta Bowl, there was a lot of emotion. What was it? A week after they named the coach?
That night.
That's what I thought. So these intelligent men, they're still fans. I'm sorry, they're still fans.
Well, and there's more to it than just fandom. Because last year, if Dana had been fired, do you know how much West Virginia would have owed him?
No, true.
$11 million, Jeremy.
I said Bill Stewart. I referenced him because I feel like that was an emotional decision, and I was showing you that sometimes decisions can be emotional.
I don't think Shane's decision will be emotional because Shane has. So you think about it. Shane waited him out before he gave him the extension. It hurt our recruiting because Dana waited and Shane waited to the last year of the contract. Dana wins 10 games. He gets the extension, right? So now Dana will be making. From $2.9 million is what his old contract was to like the mid threes. By the final season, it'll be at $4 million a year. But if we fire him in 2018, Dana gets $8.1 million.
Oh, he ain't getting fired.
So then if he gets fired, but listen, then it drops to the last 3 years to $6.9 million. That's a lot of money for a buyout, unless you have a home run as a coach to come in. Unless you've got a Jimbo Fisher. And I don't even...
I'm sorry. Scratch Jimbo. I like
Jimbo. There's no way Jimbo Fisher's coming because he's got a guaranteed contract at Texas A&M.
No. I'm saying also, I'm not trying to pay that buyout for Jimbo Fisher. I like Jimbo Fisher. I'm not paying... You know who I would pay for?
Who?
Same person we all would pay for, okay?
Nick Saban is almost 70 years old. He might be 70 years old.
Okay. I don't care.
So he's got to build an underdog from the ground up at 70 years old. Because when Nick Saban started out, Nick Saban doesn't start out as a juggernaut. That's not how he rolls. So I wouldn't pay them. I'd pay it for Urban Meyer. But you know who I'd pay it for? You know who my number one...
You wouldn't pay it for Nick Saban.
I don't know.
You lost your mind.
Do you know who I would pay?
I understand what you're trying to say, but you're wrong, son.
Because, Jeremy, how long are you going to have Nick Saban if he comes? So you're paying that buyout for how long?
Let me think. We're going to have Nick Saban enough for him to win one national championship, okay?
You know who I'd pay the buyout for?
Who?
Dabo.
Dabo.
Dabo Sweeney.
That's a good reference, other than the fact that you just mentioned how old Nick Saban is and Dabo's job. They should always just call him coach in waiting.
Yeah,
they should call Dabo.
But Dabo makes it sound like he may not go, but whatever. You know who else I would pay? Do you know who else I believe in? I don't know that I'm sold because he hasn't done it on the big stage yet, but do you know who else who I really, really like as a coach that I think we could persuade to come to Morgantown?
Who?
Row the boat. PJ Fleck at Minnesota.
I need to see more of him.
Yeah, I need to see more of him. I love his energy and his enthusiasm. He passes the eye test. He passes the ear test. He's just an infectious spirit, and I feel like that's the kind of thing you need on campus. I don't know
if he's enough to pay that buyout, if he's that big of an upgrade or an upgrade over Dana. I need to see a little more at Minnesota.
Because Dana's winning percentage mirrors West Virginia's all-time winning percentage. Our winning percentage is .599 all time.
And for the record, let me say for the record, I feel like we're moving in the right direction. Like I said, this recruiting class coming in, these transfers he's getting, it looked a little bleak. 2 months ago we had 73 scholarships with an 85, player limit. That's the lowest in the Big 12. That's the lowest in all of Power 5 conferences.
And we're still at a deficit.
And then we start getting these transfers and this recruiting class. I honestly feel, me personally, I'm not one of those Dana needs to go. I'm in the, I feel like he's doing a good job. Let's wait and see this year what he does.
I believe Dana's headed in the right direction. I had felt strongly he was headed in the right direction. I became concerned with the scholarship deficit this year. I don't understand it. At this point in his tenure, it doesn't make sense to me. And I understand injuries. I don't understand the transfer thing. I know kids can have a lot more flexibility now. I just don't quite understand it. And of course, I don't have all of the information.
True.
Another thing that is frustrating for me is we've got a lot of talent in state. We've got Darnell Wright, who is the number 2 player in the entire country. Who's an All-American. Doug Nestor.
Yeah.
Committed to Ohio State. Another All-American. He's a 4-star. Darnell Wright's a 5-star. He's a 4-star. Brenton Strange, 3-star. West Virginia has offered him, but he just got an offer from Ohio State. Isaiah Johnson, Amir Richardson. I look at these kids and I, especially with Tony Gibson now being the guy who recruits in-state, I just thought we'd do a better job of locking this in-state, at-home talent than we have. I'm not sure why we don't.
That's my thing.
And it's something that I think needs rectified because, and to be fair, Don Nealon didn't do it. Rich Rod didn't do it. Bill Stewart didn't do it. It's not a new problem. It's just a problem that I thought would be rectified. And it's one of the qualms I have with Dana, and not like I know everything. I'm not acting like, Dana, what are you doing? It's just something that I wish would be better that would make me feel a lot more comfortable with him as our head coach.
And something that I don't understand, if we get these homegrown boys, how are we not the first people to really appreciate who they are? Is it evaluation? I mean, it could be a number of different things. I'm not
That's the thing.
I don't know. I'm just saying I don't get it.
I don't know if it's evaluation. I don't know if it's a matter of that, the level of interest from the kids. I don't know if it's the feedback from the coaching staffs, from the from the high school coaching staff. I don't know. I don't know what that whole process entails. I don't know what we're looking at that way.
Yeah,
and so,
I agree.
And I also don't know how West Virginia decides who they target, when they target. So that's what I'm saying. I'm in the dark where that goes. I will say, though, it's disconcerting because to me, Brenton Strange from Parkersburg, the first offer he gets, it should be from West Virginia University. Doug Nestor, Darnell Wright, Isaiah Johnson, Amir Richardson. Now, Amir, I believe we were the first ones on him, but all those kids, Kerry Martin from Capital, those kids are dynamic. If the nation sees it, why don't we see it in Morgantown first? And if they do,
especially when they're in our backyard, right here in our backyard.
And the thing that some people will tell you is that they don't grow up rooting for us the way you would think they would, especially down in Huntington. And so I think that's a problem. But there are ways to rectify that with campaigns. But do you know what will rectify that more than anything for the years to come?
Winning.
Win Heismans. Win Big 12 championships. Win national championships. And we won't have to be discussing whether or not in-state kids stay in-state. And we will also not be discussing whether or not Dana's on the hot seat. Because it'll be cool as the other side of the pillow.
Boom.
Astorg Auto of Charleston is West Virginia's premier automotive luxury dealer. We sell Land Rover, Jaguar, Mercedes-Benz, Volvo, and Audi brands. We also have a wide variety of pre-owned luxury cars at our store on Corridor G. Our service department also goes the extra mile and aims to exceed your expectations. We offer free pickup and delivery on service appointments to make your life easier. Come experience a new level of service. Astorg Auto of Charleston, a tradition of automotive excellence. Learn more at astorgauto.com.